Good morning, dear students. Lesson 8.3, find volume of cones. Today, the main objective is finding the volume of cones. Before starting our new lesson, we must remember how to find the volume of the cylinder. Remember that the volume of cylinder equals the base area times height, B times H. And of course the base is the circle and the area of the circle is pi r squared, so V equals pi r squared H. Now page 434, how to find the volume of the cone. The volume of the cone is 1/3 the volume of a cylinder with the same base and height. The formula for the volume of the cone is V equals 1/3 BH. So the volume of cone equals 1/3 BH, base area times height, or V equals 1/3 pi r squared H. Let's start with this question, page 432. Find the volume of the cone. Look at this cone. Of course, here the radius length is 1.5 inch and the height is 4 inches. So how to find the volume of the cone? Our formula, remember, the volume of the cone equals 1/3 base area times height, or the volume of the cone equals 1/3 by r squared H. So complete the first step, V equals 1/3 by r squared H. Now substitute with the values of r and h, so equals 1/3. The question says use 3.14 for pi, so 1/3 times 3.14 times, substitute r with 1.5, so 1.5 squared, and instead of h write 4, so times 4. The first step, what's 1.5 squared? You can do it mentally. Yes, it's 22.5. So 1/3 times 3.14 times 22.5 times 4. Now simplify or multiply to find the value of this expression. You can use your calculator. Yes, the answer is about 94.2 cubic inch. So the volume of this cone is about 94.2 cubic inches. Are you happy with this? Yes? Okay, then go to page 433. Question A, find the volume of each cone. A, use 22/7 for pi. Express the answer as a fraction. Look at this cone. The height is 3 millimeter and the 5 is the slant height. Remember the slant height? But where is the radius length? The radius length is not given. So the first step, we must find out the radius length. How to find out the radius length? Of course, we have a right angle triangle here. So remember the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, how to find r? Of course, r here is a leg. So r equals square root 5 squared minus 3 squared. 5 squared is 25 minus 3 squared is 9. 25 minus 9 is 16. So square root, the positive square root of 16 is 4. So the radius length here is 4 millimeter. Now we are ready to find the volume of this cone. Write down the formula. V equals 1/3 pi r squared H. Substitute now. And instead of pi, write 22/7. And r now is 4. H, the height is 3 millimeters. So V is about 1/3 times 22 over 7 times 4 squared times 3. Now, we can divide by 3 to simplify. Before dividing, we can find what's 4 squared. What 4 squared, of course, it's 16. Now, we can divide by 3 to simplify this expression. So the answer is 22 times 16 divided by 7. Multiply 22 times 17. Yes, the answer is 352 over or divided by 7. This is the answer as a fraction. So 352 over 7 cubic millimeter. Are you happy with this? Yes? Okay, go to B now. Page 433, question B. Express the volume of in terms of pi. Of course, this is the volume of a cone. Look at this cone. We have the height. The height is 21 feet. We have the circumference of the base. C equals 16 pi feet. But where's the radius length? The radius length is not given. And we don't have the base area. So how to find the volume of this cone? Write down the formula. V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. We know what the value of h, but we don't know what the value of r. How to find the value of r? As we did before, we can use the circumference to find the radius length, because the circumference is given. Remember, the circumference equals 2 pi r. So 16 pi equals 2 pi r. Now, solve this equation for r by dividing by 2 pi. So r is 8 feet. Now, we know what the value of r. R is 8 feet. So we can find the value of the volume of this cone. Substitute now. V equals 1/3 pi. The question says in terms of pi. Find the volume or express the volume in terms of pi. So leave pi as it is. And instead of r, r is 8, so 8 squared multiplied by 21. Now simplify this expression. You can use the calculator to write 1/3 times 8 squared times 21. The answer is 448. And don't forget pi. So the answer is 448 pi cubic feet. Page 434, question 4. Wanda found a cone-shaped seashell on the beach. The shell has a height of 63 millimeters and a base radius of 8 millimeters. What the volume of the seashell? Estimate using 22 over 7 for pi. This is a direct question. We have the radius length of the base. We have the height. So, remember, write down the formula. V equals 1/3 pi r squared. Use 22 over 7 for pi. Use 8 for r. Use 63 for h. Substitute now. Now, simplify. Use your calculator to find out the answer. It will be 4,224 cubic millimeter. Question 5. What the volume of the cone? Look at this cone. We have the slant height and we have the height, but we don't have the radius length. So the first step, we must find out the radius length of the piece. The question says use 3.14 pi and round to the nearest tenth. Of course, we have a right angle triangle here, and the radius length of the base is a leg. How to find the leg? Using Pythagorean theorem, of course. So r equals 41 squared minus 40 squared. The answer is 9. So the radius length of the base is 9 millimeter. Now we can find out the volume of this cone using our formula. V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. Instead of y, put 3.14. Instead of r, we'll use 9. And instead of h, use 40. Now, use your calculator to find out the answer. Yes, the answer is about 3,391.2 cubic millimeter.